One of the most important things for new players and experienced players to make sure that you know is how to use ladders properly in CS2. All too many times I've been trying to go behind somebody on the nuke ladder to go up to A site, and it's just been frustrating. The other person's going way too slow, and let's just talk about some of the things that people are doing wrong and how to actually use ladders correct in CS2 and make it look like that. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's just get into it right after a quick word from our sponsor. My camera went blurry. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you can trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Ladders in CS2 are very mysterious, and the way that they work is kind of finicky, but let me get into a couple of things that'll make it a lot easier for you to use ladders and some tips that can make you understand how to go up and down them like a pro. Starting with what all noobs do. This is the one thing that I really hate seeing, which is when you want to go up the ladder, you just hold W and run up the ladder. Now, if you're a newer player, you might be thinking, yeah, but Austin, how else would you go up the ladder? Well, let me tell you that this is not the fastest way, and especially on a map like Nuke, if you go up a ladder like that, your teammates are going to hate you because you're going to be blocking them. And of course, on Nuke, you want to get up the ladder as fast as possible because you need to be to the A site before they rush. So it's really important that you know how to go up ladders quickly. So what's the trick to go up the ladders quickly? Well, what you're going to do is you're actually going to do a strafe up the ladder. So you're going to press either W or D, or you're going to press W or A. Now I have the key presses below my webcam here so you can see what I'm pressing at all times. So if I want to go up the ladder, I'm going to hit W and A, and I'm going to look up the direction. So we're imagining that my W and A is going to force me into the ladder, because it's going to. So we want to make sure that both movement keys are pressing into the ladder, and it'll let us go up faster if we look the direction and straight up. As you can see, I'm going to go up the ladder extremely quick. If I put them side by side, you can look at the going up the ladder with a W as compared to going up the ladder with a W and A press, and you can see noticeably a lot quicker. And one of the other things is that you can do this either direction, so you can also do W and D, and that doesn't make a difference. It's just preference, and it gets you up there a lot quicker. Now, there's a couple other things that you can do, which is that you can go up ladders without making noise. I was actually surprised at the amount of people that did not know that you could go up ladders silently. So naturally, the first thing that you're thinking is going up a ladder silently looks like this. But wow, this is taking forever. Look at how long it took me to get up there while holding shift. Sure, I didn't make any noise, but it took a long time, and all of my teammates that are spectating me are cringing because that's just gonna take me 10 seconds to get up the ladder. You can still apply the same logic, which is holding shift and then strafing up like we did before. It's still very slow, but it is noticeably faster to do it that way than just holding into the ladder with the W. But there's actually a secret method that only pros know, which is the way to go up the ladder fast and not make sound. And it actually kind of abuses a little bit of a glitch in the way that the sound works in this game. So if I go up the ladder, you'll notice that there's a set distance that I have to go up before it plays that ladder sound. So for example, look. It took me about halfway up the ladder before it made that clinking sound. So what do? We're going to tap W and D for only a second, okay? Only a second, and you're gonna see we make it up without making noise, and then we reset that and we hit it again and again. So if you ever watch my streams at twitch.tv/AustinCS_, by the way, link in the description, you might notice that I go up the ladders like this in a lot of situations when I wanna be quiet. And the reason I do that is because you can get up the ladder very quickly without making any noise at all, and it is very useful in every situation that involves ladders, and a lot of people would benefit from knowing that. Now again, the entire time I've been showing all of this, my key presses are here, so in case you need to help to mimic this or replicate this in a server, you can do that. Now, let me blow some of your guys' minds, because all of the things that I just showed you also work with going down the ladders. So a lot of people go down ladders like this or down ladders like this, and you really don't need to do that. Now, you can also do the silent drop down the ladder the same way that I've just showed you, which is by looking straight down and then strafing away from the way the ladder would go. Now remember, imagine our movement keys are forcing us down the ladder, because that's what they're doing. We want to be away from them. So we're gonna look straight down, diagonally, and we're gonna press W and D, and you can see we're gonna get a nice silent what do you want to call this? You want to go down the ladder silently. Look at this. I can go down, but there's actually a way to go down the ladder even faster, and it's pretty easy to do. So let me explain something about ladders that a lot of people don't know. You actually won't get stuck to a ladder until you press a movement key. Now that might seem confusing when I say it out loud, but let me show you what that means. So if I walk off of the edge here into the ladder, you would probably assume that I just get stuck to the ladder as soon as I hit it, but that's not true. If I run into this ladder, I'll just fall all the way down and I don't get stuck to it. And that's because I never pressed a movement key. But if I go back up to the top and I press a movement key, the second that I press a movement key, I will get stuck to it. Watch. And then I press W, and now I'm attached to the ladder, which means we can abuse this idea with going down the ladders silently and also fast by just making sure that we don't press a movement key. So it looks like this. And I hit the movement key at the bottom of the ladder, and then I hold shift to walk off, and then you can see I make it down the ladder very quickly without making noise. It takes a little bit of time to master this, but as you can see, once you get good at it, you can get down the ladders very quickly. And this has a lot of uses. It depends on the map that you want to use it on. There's a lot of maps that have ladders, especially a map like Nuke is the map that we're on right now, but you could definitely see where this could be useful. If you need to rotate down the vent, you can get really good at it and not make any sound when you drop. And on a map like Vertigo, actually, matter of fact, let's just switch to Vertigo right now. And now that we're on Vertigo, let me show you how this could be useful. I'm a mid defaulter myself on T side, and if I ever want to go down the ladder, I would prefer to not make noise going down because side hall is literally right here, so any of the CTs would be able to hear me. Yes, for some of you guys that didn't know, it's literally right next to each other, so don't make noise in the ladder, but I don't want to make noise. So what would I do? I would walk off the edge and not hit anything until I get to the bottom. That way I can get down without making noise. It's especially useful on Vertigo, again, considering how close we are to the enemies, that we can go up quickly and we can also go down quickly without making noise. So that's one of the biggest things that I would say that people need to learn about ladders to just get better in the game in general, because they're not making additional sound cues that we don't want to make, whether it be jumping, going up the ladder, or anything like that, is always going to be a good thing for you to get better. And also, it's really important that you know how to go up the ladder on Nuke, because now you know you're not going to block your teammates and they're not going to get unhappy with you for going up the ladder too slow. There's also a couple of other silly things that you can do with ladders, and even though it might not be the most useful thing in the world, let me go ahead and show you anyway. Now there's going to be some ladders like the one on Mirage under balcony, where if you stand on top of it, you're actually completely accurate. So you can stand and hold a nice off angle here from on top of here, and people won't expect you, and you're still fully accurate on top of the ladder. Now let me actually spawn in a bot here so you can see most of the time people are going to get to this corner, clear this, and then they're going to be like, all right, nobody's here, and they're going to start walking out. But when they start walking out, you're going to kill them from on top of the ladder. It's actually one of my favorite angles to play, and it's only possible because you can stand on top of the ladder, and not a lot of people know that. And there's actually a lot of examples of standing on ladders that is actually pretty useful. The one in ladder room is one of the best spots in the game, and you might not even have noticed that this was on top of a ladder if you play here, but actually playing up here is really good. When people come in to clear this, they are going to have to commit all the way in the ladder room to kill you, and obviously that's going to be an advantage for you because you can see them before they get in here, and it's just a good spot overall. And there's another mechanic with the ladders that you should probably know, which I didn't mention on any of the other maps because it's not really applicable, but on this particular map, you can actually jump off of the ladders, which means that if you're ever going up a ladder and you press spacebar in the middle of it, so if I'm just standing on the ladder and I press spacebar, I get sent off the ladder, which spacebar is my jump. Some of you guys are using scroll wheel and you're weird, but if I jump off the ladder, I can get sent off of it. It's really only useful if you're a KZ player, but it can be useful in some select instances on some of these maps. So if I'm ever standing up here and I have an MP9 and I know they're about to come in ladder, I can jump at them with the MP9, and since we know the MP9 has such broken jumping accuracy, it can get you a pretty reliable kill, and it can surprise people on ecos. And I know that this seems like it's not that useful, but it actually is, and a lot of pros use these ladder mechanics to get kills in matches. There's actually also another really cool mechanic that a lot of the pros use, which is the super jump off the ladders. Now, it's really only applicable on this spot on Mirage, but you can actually get a super jump. If you hold shift and walk into the ladder while looking straight down, you'll actually get stuck on the ladder, and if anybody ever wants to come out towards you, you can actually jump off the ladder and you get a super jump. Now, this doesn't really seem useful, except it kind of is, especially on ecos when you have an MP9. What you can do is you can set this up, and when somebody comes to clear you, you could jump at them really fast with the MP9. Now, I don't know if this is a bug or not, because it actually was in CSGO, and it works the exact same in CS2, so I wonder if this is an intentional mechanic. I'm not actually sure, but imagine this. You're coming to clear under balcony, and all of a sudden some guy super jumps jumps at you with an MP9. And we already know that the MP9 is a little bit broken, like I just mentioned, so it's actually pretty reliable at getting a kill. You could try it out in your next pug and let me know how it goes. It's also really easy to set up. You can do it from anywhere. You can even do it from up here on top of the balcony. That's another super jump. You could do this with any ladder as long as you set it up the same way that I just showed you. And it's pretty effective. With all that being said, that's all of the ladder tech that I know, and I had my key presses on the entire time so you could see every button that I was pressing, so that way it makes it a little bit easier for you to try to replicate them. If you did learn something from this video, I would appreciate if you guys subscribed, share this with your friends who are going up the ladder way too slow so that they can learn how to not do that anymore. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.